Hey everybody, happy Saturday and welcome to my live stream. My goodness, thank you so very much for being here. I am just realizing I'm going to have to open up YouTube. I'm going to turn off my sound for a second so we don't have any overlap. I didn't get my chat going so I could see everybody, but it looks like we've got a lot of friends in the chat, and that warms my heart that y'all are going to be here and crafting along with me today. So welcome, welcome. I'm seeing everybody kind of filtering in. We've got some new people. We've got a lot of familiar faces. My goodness. Thank you all so much for being here. Let me just get this all situated. You know, there's always something that I forget to do. And you know what? If it's that I didn't pop out my chat, there are worse things. I promise there are worse things. So we will take this as a victory. Let's minimize that. All right. Hello, everybody. Oh my gosh, so many friends dropping by. We've got Carrie and Barbara and Tiffany and Kristen. We got Liv and Carmen, and hello, Chris. Hope you're having a great day from out in Oklahoma. I'll tell you, we're in the Midwest over here in the Chicago area, and it is blustery, super blustery today. So I hope everyone is having a fantastic Saturday. I have been up for a little bit longer than I care to admit. We are dog sitting this weekend, one of my parents' dogs, and he decided to start barking at like 6:30, and 6:30 isn't like early for me during the week at all. However, on the weekends, I usually like to push it till at least 7:30, just because I like to get a little bit of sleep in, but here I am. I'm wide awake. I've had my coffee. I've had my breakfast. I'm so excited to be here today. We are doing some fun mixing seasonal magic across our cards so we can stretch our products and use them all year round. I'm going to kind of push myself. Kind of had to pivot last minute because of some product items, but that's not an issue for me. And also, we have a giveaway. So we're going to do that later on in the live stream, probably towards the very, very end. And I'm super excited. It's my first giveaway during a live stream. And I'm very grateful that Pink and Main wanted to sponsor one. So thank you so much to our friends over at Pink and Main for sponsoring the giveaway for today's live stream. We'll get into that later. Hello, everybody. All right. So I always kind of like to pick an educational topic of sorts when we do a live stream together. It might be something really simple. It might be something a little more complicated. And I was knowing that I wanted to use this specific stamp set today, and I know that we have played around with some florals recently. So I wanted to do something different. I didn't want to just make like a standard pretty floral card, which is always wonderful, but I wanted to kind of put a twist on it. Hello, Sherry. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Michelle is so wonderful, Judy. She really is. Same with Libby. They are two wonderful people. I'm so grateful to have them as crafty friends, and especially for them to support me in my crafting. So always so grateful for them. So today we are going to, because I was trying to kind of stretch my ideas, I was like, stretching my ideas, stretching your stash. And I was going through my pattern paper, and there is a pattern paper collection from Pink and Main that is one of my favorites ever. And it is called the Chill in the Air paper pack. And it is a winter paper pack. Here, I'll show you guys here. We'll do it closer down when we go down for the video. And there are some beautiful prints in here. And I was inspired. I'm like, we're going to do a chilly, wintry twist on a brand new summery winter, summer, spring floral set and have some fun with it. So let's go ahead and we're going to flip our camera down. And I'm going to give you a little bit of a closer look at this Chill in the Air paper pack. So here we go. All right. You know what? I'm just realizing I gotta take my camera back just a wee bit. I was filming a video before I hopped onto my live stream, and my camera was just a little bit further down than usual, but that is a-okay. So I love all of these papers, and what I love about them is they're warm and cozy, but like a lot of these patterns, I was looking at it, could really be used throughout the year. If you've got the mindset that you can cross your seasons when it comes to different creations. And I was kind of popping around with this, and I was looking at a lot of different patterns. And originally I was going to do this sort of plaid. It's like a red and almost like a creamy green color as a plaid paper. But then when I opened up my pack, I realized I had already cut an A2 size piece of this sort of diamond hatch pattern. So we're going to play with this today. And this is going to be the background of our card. I think it's going to kind of give a floral card a little bit of that masculine flair to it, which is something that I really love to incorporate. So we're going to play with this, and we're going to do a little bit of Olo marker coloring because I thought that would be a really fun way to utilize this set, do a little bit of embossing, and just have some fun. Oh my gosh, you guys are so wonderful in the chat today. Barbara, it really is a great paper pad. And I'm so happy to see that there are so many people in here that love Pink and Main. They are such a wonderful company. I so adore the opportunities I have to work with them. So what we're going to do is let's start with a little bit of Olo marker coloring. And I'm going to talk to you guys about a little bit of a tip that I have for my coloring. Now, I did do coloring in advance. But we're going to do a little bit of it live too. And I think I'm going to stamp out one more image. So I have a little bit of our Dogwood Blooms stamp set, which is the main stamp set that we're going to be using. It is a 6x6 stamp set. It comes with some beautiful floral images. It's got some like partial butterfly insect color images, some leaves, some really fun tiny sentiments. And what I've done is I've gone ahead and I've stamped this out in brown ink. I pulled a alcohol marker friendly brown ink from my stash, and that's the Lawn Fawn Crunchy Leaf ink pad. I love this ink. This is one of my favorite tips when you want to have a little bit of a softer edge to your colored up images. It gives it a little bit of a storybook feel. It also, this ink, I never have issues that it smears. It dries really nicely. I love that Lawn Fawn has alcohol marker friendly inks in other colors. My parents' dog has decided to crash my live stream, so he just came in, and I apologize about that extra noise. So what we're going to do is I am going to stamp out one more image on here because I realized I'd love to show you how the leaves get colored up, and it'll only take an extra minute. And then we're going to color up this flower and these leaves together. So let me grab that stamp set. The more I see you using, the more I want to buy it all. Oh my gosh, you guys are so sweet. All right, so I have a question. Watch one of your videos when time allows. Can you explain the different texture of ink pads? Yeah, as I'm getting this all situated. Now, I don't know specifically what we're talking about when it comes to texture, but different inks have different qualities, which mean when they get stamped on your paper, they can change sort of how the paper may feel. Dye inks are going to seep into the paper. So when that happens, you are going to not really change too much of the texture. You're going to just kind of have the paper quality as is. However, if you're using something like a pigment or an oxide ink that has pigment qualities, that is going to make your paper a little bit more, I guess the term I'm going to go for is chalkier. And I don't love that term, but I feel like that might be the best way for me to describe it. And you can definitely feel on there that there's a little bit of a chalkiness when it comes to that sort of an ink. But overall, inks don't really super impact texture. That's going to be more along the lines of using like a texture paste or really going in and having like a mixed media sort of design. That's going to really kind of alter texture more, but inks can have a little bit more of a subtle effect, if that makes sense, Lucy. All right, so I've got this all stamped out, and all right, let's keep it going. We're going to put the stamp set away. I'm going to put my pattern paper away. Now, I only am working with a couple Olo markers today. I'm going to grab a piece of cardstock, just kind of random cardstock off to the side. And I always like to color with a piece of cardstock behind my paper because I color often on like glass surfaces. So coloring on a glass surface, it kind of prevents any sort of excess ink from being absorbed underneath. and it kind of can get like smeared around on this, and it makes your image not blend as well at times. But when I have something like a paper underneath, it acts as a barrier to catch any excess ink, so I don't have to worry about any sort of issues that the glass surface may have presented to me. So now what we're going to do for our coloring is, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go in with a warm gray marker, and I am going to sort of just add it anywhere there would be shadow around my petals. So anywhere there's an overlap around the center seeds. This is a very subtle detail, and when it comes to the end of the card, we're not going to notice it as much, but this is going to sort of help build this flower in a way to give it a little bit of extra shadow, because the way that I color my florals, I don't really give it a lot of blending. I actually more so use like chunkier strokes as a method because I like that texture with my flowers. So I'm going to go in with some, that was warm gray 3, and I'm going to kind of blend it out a little bit with some warm gray 1. And like I said, this is just going to add to the shadow because parts of these flowers are going to have a white quality to them. So it's going to help with that as well. So I'm just going to kind of go in. Like I said, it's not going to be a super pretty blend at first, but it's all going to come together in the end. Now, I am just going to use 2 colors on each of the petals. And normally when I color, I didn't want to spend a lot of time coloring today because I know alcohol marker coloring is not everybody's favorite thing. But I did want to also let you know, I often go live with Kindred Stamps now on their YouTube channel, at least once or twice a month. And I'm often alcohol marker coloring over there. So if you ever want to see me and get some tips on alcohol marker coloring, that's a great place to do it. This is a little bit more abbreviated, which is okay. Carrie wants to know, can you give us your opinion of Olo versus Copic? So Copic markers, Copic markers are really a high quality marker. You'll know that because of the price point. I believe they're probably the most expensive marker that you can get that's out there. To an extent, when it comes to the ink itself, I do think that the quality you pay for is evident. I think that Copic marker ink is very high quality. It blends really well, and I love that Copic has like 300, I think it's like 368 colors. It's a lot of colors. But like I said, they're expensive markers. General market price of them, I believe, is about $7.95 in the US per marker. I mean, gosh, I think about when I was in school and my mom used to take me to go pick up a pack of Crayola markers, like an 8-pack. You can get it for like $5 or less. So they're definitely on the expensive side, but they blend really nicely. However, I will jump on the bandwagon. I do think that in the recent years, the quality of the barrels, so the plastic barrels of the Copic markers, has not been at its highest. The caps have been cracking. People have been getting their markers dried out, and they've been having to replace them, myself included. So that's been a really big negative because they're such expensive markers. Now, Olo, on the other hand, they're a little newer to the industry. Now, I did just to talk about the markers I used. First, I used R2.4, and then I did use R2.2 next. That's what I'm doing right now. All of the markers that I used are linked down below. And as you can see, I am going in with sort of just like an easy stroke motion around this flower. So now, with Olos do not have as many colors currently as Copic offers. And I do think that they're building up their color offerings. But I think that in general, there are some color gaps that causes some of the colors to not maybe have as easy of a blend as you may find with a marker that has as many offerings in terms of color options like Copic does. However, Olo is consistently offering updates and additional color selections. I know late last year they had launched, I think, 96 brand new colors. They have not announced that they're done with colors, so I would imagine there's going to be more. So Olo markers are kind of catching up. I will say that the barrel itself is very high quality. I haven't had an issue with any of them that I've owned. So I would say quality-wise with the barrels, Olos are right up there. I just think that Copics right now have more of a color offering. So that's going to make your Copic markers be able to have more colors to blend together, and the inks do blend very well. I hope that helps. That is where I learned to color. Justin's the best at teaching alcohol blending. Oh, you're so sweet, Kristen. Thank you. But yes, like I said, I just kind of wanted to do a little bit of an abbreviated coloring today. I didn't want to do a time suck and really like color this whole image together because I know with live streams, like I want to kind of keep the energy going. And if we have people here who aren't really alcohol marker colorists or it's not really something they care about, it's going to be a lot of time focused on that. And like I said, if you ever want to catch me over on the Kindred Stamps YouTube channel, I usually at least one of my live streams a month, if not both of them, I'm coloring up something with my Copics or my Olo markers. So definitely catch me over there. And I'd be happy to go over any questions. All right, so just kind of going in. And like I said, this is really chunky coloring. I'm not really caring too much about the blend. I'm just kind of going in and making sure that we've got some good marker strokes that are going on. And I sometimes will go back in and add a couple more strokes or just sort of help with the blend a little bit. But by ending with the darkest color, that way the strokes don't really blend as much and you can see that texture come through. Oh, Carmen, you're so sweet. Thank you for your kind words. Now for the center of the flower, I'm just going to go in and do some OR 3.2 just to sort of color that up. And then this flower is done. Now I do also want to color up the leaf with y'all. This is going to be super, super quick. Thank you, Tiffany. All right, so we're going to go in with some YG 1.6. And I'm going to kind of go down the center of my leaf and then a little to the sides. Just kind of bring it up a little bit. You want to kind of put your darkest marker wherever there might be shadow. And we're doing a 3-color blend. So my darkest is going to be the 1.6. Now we're going to go with the YG 1.4. That's going to be our midtone. Now a midtone is the color you actually want your image to be. So for example, this green is the color I want this leaf to be, but we're using a shadow for the darker areas, and we're going to use a highlight for the lighter areas. And the highlight is going to be YG 1.2. So I'm going to just kind of go in and do that. Alcohol marker coloring was kind of the foundation of my when I started making cards. This is what really got me into my crafting, was working with alcohol marker inks and really kind of learning with my Copics. So a lot of you, if some of you have been following me for quite some time, you know that already. I'm often reaching and playing with markers. But over the years, my style has kind of changed a little bit, and I've really enjoyed also branching away from marker use and playing with die cuts and relying on ink blending with die cuts as a way to sort of build dimension with my images. All right, and we're going to finish this up with some YG 1.2. Doesn't you always use the same colors for leaves? No, I don't. I don't have... So my Olo marker collection is not as robust as my Copics. My Copics, I have the full collection. And when I color with my Copics, my greens, I really dance around to different greens. I use YGs a lot. If I use just a G marker, which is just standard green, there's a little bit of more blue to it. So my G markers are usually more if I'm going for like tropical vibes. Think those, like, I'm gonna butcher the word, but like the Monstera leaves, the big waxy leaves that have like that depth or that piney green color to it. But typically when I'm coloring like leaves or like flowers, I do more yellow greens. There's a little bit more vibrance, and I dance around. I'll do like usually YG1s, YG2s, or YG6s when it comes to my Copics, because my YG6 is really pretty. My friend Brianne Firth, she was the one who kind of led me into the YG markers, the YG6s specifically. So very pretty. So I appreciate that. So I've got these all situated. So now why don't we go in and why don't we get these die cut out and work on that together? So I'm going to grab the coordinating dies. Love that the dies come pre-snipped. Makes it super easy. And if you guys have any more questions with coloring, just let me know. This is kind of the end of our coloring for our live, which I'm actually very happy. That means we were only doing it for about 15 minutes together, which is enough for me. I've done live streams before where I have colored for 40 plus minutes, and that's just a little too much. Also, some of you may have even purchased kits before where I do coloring tutorials, and I have done coloring tutorials that exceed 5 hours in length. So I put my time into it. It can definitely take some time. Also, if you're coloring up like human images, that can really take some time. So anyways, and don't forget, all of the products that we're using today are linked in the description below. I've also added a message to the chat that's pinned that you guys can check out the complete product list. All right. Let's go and put this. I don't know if you guys are like me, I get trust issues with die cuts, with coordinating die cuts, because I have sometimes accidentally like butchered imagery because I don't position my die cuts appropriately. And it drives me nuts. So I really try. It's hard for me during a live stream because like I want to do my best to put like my head fully over the die cuts. But we're working with it. My gosh. Trust issues when crafting. Trust issues is why I don't use my scan and cut as much as I used to. I always like to talk about, like, there was this one time that I spent so much time coloring up an image, and it was a person image, and my scan and cut decided to like not see that there was like a line for like the face, and it went inside the face and totally cut the nose off and like gave my image a nose job. And I'm like, you know what? I think I might rather fussy cut than do this. So that's that. All right. And if anyone's got any questions, just let me know. So, all right. Do a little bit of die cutting. Thinking it might be time for me to upgrade this die cutting machine soon. If you guys were in my live stream 2 weeks ago when we were creating with Altenew, you know that my die cutting machine totally, like the handle gave out on me, and my die cutting machine just fell on the floor, and that's okay. We worked with it, right? All right, so we got this. Let's just kind of pop them out. Now, an image like this, though, with how many little crevices there are, I'm so grateful for coordinating dies. My goodness. Yep, Carrie, it can be brutal. You try to cut, then color. That's true. See, you guys have trust issues with that. You know exactly what I'm talking about. All right, so we're just going to kind of remove our little flowers and our leaves. I've got one more leaf to die cut out. All right. Oh, this is not too terrible to die cut, so I can appreciate that. I want to make sure to save all of my mint tape because mint tape is like my precious, and I try to use it until I can't use it no more. All right, put that off to the side, that over there. Perfect. And we are going to be using my die cutting machine a little bit more for today's live because we're going to do some embossing with some embossing folders just to kind of help go into those wintry vibes a little bit. So this is going to be fun. I'm really excited about it. All right, so I've got all of my images ready to go. Put our dies away so we don't lose them. Oh my goodness, I was crafting last night and I was working on a card, and I've got a magnetic dish on my desk, and my magnetic dish wouldn't like solidly get magnetized to my glass mat. Excuse me. I didn't understand what was going on until I flipped it over. And now I found that I have a rogue die cut on the bottom that looks like a window from a house, and I have no idea where it came from. So now I'm going to have to kind of go through my stash and think about where this might have been. But I'll find it. Question, I'm trying to learn more about foiling. Are you able to use Pink and Main foilables and sheer foils in the Gina K Fuse foiling machine. Okay, so Carmen, I am not super fluent with the fuse machine, but I would imagine you absolutely should be able to. I feel like you would be able to really use it with any sort of foiling machine. I don't know what the settings would be, but you should definitely be able to use the Pink and Main products in that machine. So yeah, definitely could check it out. Last night you spilled cough syrup all over your card. Oh, Jamie, I hope that doesn't mean that you're not feeling well, but my goodness. And hello, John from Orlando. One of my favorite cities. One of my favorite cities. I was just telling my husband the other day that I feel like my soul is in need of a Disney trip sometime soon. So hello to you in Orlando. All right, I'm going to put my images in this stack and sort tray that's got a silicone mat in it. All right, just kind of stack those up. And then let's start working and making our card a little bit more pulling in those wintry vibes. So we've got our chill in the air paper, and this really isn't going to get used until the very tail end of our card. So what we'll do with this is going to be our background, but then we are going to use this Pebble Cardstock, and this is going to be our background piece. So what we're going to kind of do is layer like this. I'm already falling in love with these colors. But we're going to do a little bit of embossing and ink blending to this. So let's get into that. And this is the Oblong stitched oval die. This is the second largest die. Let me grab the set. It's the second largest one that's included. I love it. I got this die set when it was released. I think it was last year. I know it was around the spring release because I specifically remember that I used it with an Easter Bunny set from Pink and Main. The name is slipping my mind, but I know it was Easter. I love this set. It just is so easy to work with. I'm realizing though I need to get a blending brush. So let's get a brown blending brush. And we're gonna use one of my favorite neutral colors, and that is Catherine Pooler's Over Coffee. So I'm going to go in with the Simon Hurley blending brush and just sort of blend the edges of this. Just like this. Just kind of going around. Judy's done it with the Pink and Main and the fuse machine. Pink and Main is not hot foil. Okay. Yes, that is a good reminder. So talking about foil, so here's another thing is I am kind of versed in foil. I don't do it too much, but I'm definitely kind of fluent when it comes to talking about it. So there are two main types of foils out there. There's a toner foil and there's a hot foil. And a toner foil you can transfer to a project by using toner sheets. So that's when it's like a sheet of paper that has a design printed in toner ink, and that's a heat transfer. Or it can also be transferred through the use of like a gel, like Fuse Gel. Thermoweb has their, they used to have Blanco gel. I don't think they have Blanco anymore, but they have their Duo gel that works. And that's how you can transfer foil, a toner foil. Now with hot foil, you've got to use a hot foil machine like, I think it's called the Glimmer or something similar. I know Gemini has one as well. And you've got to use a hot foil plate with a designated hot foil to do it. Didn't know if that helps. Oh, Laura, you're so sweet. Thanks for being here. All right, so I'm just kind of going in and blending. Blend. All right. Now I've got two dogs in here, but I wish were not in here because they're going to want to go outside. And then they're going to want to come inside. And my husband just decided to go to the library, so I'm flying solo. All right. Oh, it's always something. All right. We've been having some wild weather in the Midwest. Had some crazy storms this week, but it's kind of settled down. But now we've got like a week of like 70-degree weather, which is great. The foiling info is so helpful. Oh, you're so welcome, Carmen. But yeah, I mean, I've heard some very good things about the Fuse machine. I use the Pink and Main Mink machine for my blending, and I'm very happy with it. But it's just what your preference is. If you watch more, if you buy a lot of Gina K products and you watch all of Gina K's wonderful live streams, the Fuse may be a great option for you just because you're going to see it used more. But or if you're watching Pink and Main live streams, because I know they've got all of their team goes live as well, maybe you want to get the mini Mink machine with the Pink and Main coloring, whatever works for you. All right, so what we're going to do is let's do a little bit of embossing. So what I want to do is I'm going to take my mister from Spellbinders and just sort of wet the back. It's a little more wet than I wanted it to be, but we're surviving here. And then I'm going to take an older embossing folder from Pink and Main. This is the Buffalo Plaid. And I am going to kind of center this the best I can. Let's see. Yeah, I didn't mist my paper. I like semi-soaked it. Okay. Maybe that means it will still be okay. So I'm going to put this inside of my embossing folder. And if my sandwich instructions are correct, I should just be able to process this through my die cutting machine with just the base platform. And this does not feel right. This does not feel right. Ugh. See, that frustrates me where it's like, oh, I don't know. I should have tested before I just assumed. And this is too much. All right, what are we going to do, Justin? Because it says I should just be able to do a standard cutting plate with the platform. So let's try it. Let's see what happens. If anything, I can maybe add some shims, something. We'll figure it out. I just don't feel like that's enough pressure. And it's not. All right, let's see. Where are my cutting plates that I was working with? I will use this. Is this going to work? That also doesn't feel great. I tell you, sometimes sandwiches do not... Oh, that kind of got a little bit. Let's do a little bit of shim. Yeah, we're going to do that. So let's go in, add a couple pieces of cardstock just to help shim it, to add a little bit of pressure. And then we'll be fine. There we go. All right. See, friends, this is why you don't just read. You test before you do it. Because I did not test. And that's okay. All right. But I felt that pressure, and here you guys can see how beautiful this looks. Oh, my goodness. Love that very much. All right. I don't think I need to do too much else die cutting. So let me put these off to the side. Perfect. All right. My goodness. So now we've got this. This needs to dry because it's just a little too much. So we're going to let this dry, but this is going to be our background panel. And I just got to make sure to use it appropriately. And then I thought that this Buffalo Plaid print definitely had a somewhere between fall and winter vibe to it, which really leans into the theme that we're kind of mixing our seasons to come up with something fun and new to make that we can stretch our stash all year round. But like I said, we're going to put that there. We're going to use our floral like this. And then I also grabbed, this is something I wasn't intending on doing, but I decided to go full-fledged into the theme. I grabbed, this is the Christmas sentiment strip die set, and I was reading the sentiments. Obviously, it's not going to say Merry Christmas. It's not going to say Noel. This is a little too far into Christmas to use with Pretty Spring Flowers. But then I saw Warm Wishes, and I was like, maybe. Kind of would be weird in the summer, but maybe. However, then I saw Sending Joy. Sending Joy is not necessarily a Christmas-specific sentiment. And I'm like, that is what we're going to do. So what we're going to do is I have this Sending Joy sentiment strip, and I'm going to kind of layer it with our image. But I didn't know what your thoughts were. Should we do moss cardstock, or should we do Barbershop? But also, too, as a reminder, there's going to be a backing piece. So the letters are going to be white. So we're either going to do Sending Joy in blue, in the barbershop color, or we're going to do Sending Joy in moss. I kind of already have a preference, but I'm interested to see what you guys think. Maybe some margs too. Carrie, that sounds lovely. The pool, grilling, margs, all the things. Joy sentiments all year round. Find joy every day. Absolutely. My mother-in-law's name is Joy, so every time I craft with the word joy, I'm like, oh, it's a card for my mother-in-law. All right. So what are your thoughts? Barbershop blue, Carmen says. What about everybody else? Tiffany says green. Okay. Let's see. All right. We'll let them kind of come in a little bit, but we'll get that put together while we're waiting. Got blue. Oh my gosh, we're getting 50-50. Y'all are going to make me do a tiebreaker. I'm the tiebreaker. Ha ha ha. All right. Green. All right. Anybody else before? Oh, we got, ooh. We got more greens. Okay. All right. I am a little surprised. I thought it was going to be blue. All right. So I'm going to say, unless I get like an influx of blues, we're going to do green for our center. Oh, we just got 3 blues. Okay. And we got 4 blues. So now blue is ahead. Okay. So I'm going to, from what I can see, I'm going to say 3, 2, 1. I'm going to call it. We're going to go with the barbershop blue. But it's pretty. It really is pretty. I'm wondering if maybe what we should do instead is maybe just slightly offset it so it also incorporates a little bit of the green. So let's do that. We're going to do blue as the main color, but then I'm going to offset it a little bit so we've got that moss peeking through. I think that's a very happy compromise. All right, so let's go in. This is drying off. So let's start putting our sentiment strip together. And then we're also going to do a little bit of stamping. So I'm going to go with my Misty Precision Glue Press. Thank y'all for voting. Keep y'all on your toes, right? I agree. The green does pop. But I think I'm going to go with the blue. I'm going to go with the blue, and we're going to put the green as like a backing piece so it kind of peeps out. And I think that's going to be kind of a great way to get a little bit of pop, but maybe not too much pop. I don't know. Just my thoughts. All right, so let's go in. And then I did actually die cut a second moss green sentiment strip, but this one I didn't have enough pressure, so it didn't go through all the way. But maybe this is going to be the happy accident, because I can use this as the backing piece, and it should be no die cuts in the middle. So we're just going to kind of go in, and we're going to just kind of layer it like that. Oh, that's going to be perfect. This is so pretty. All right, y'all, love this idea. Love, love, love. All right, so just kind of peep a little bit. Peep, peep, peep. All right, just kind of little offset like that. Oh, how pretty. All right, so that's going to layer really nicely. I just want to make sure. Going to kind of move that a little bit. Move that down just a little bit. Awesome. Yay. All right, so we're going to do it like that. So Sending Joy. Now, you could always do it like in the center, but I like doing it kind of offset and then having it kind of along the edge. And we're going to also use our little flowers and leaves. But we're also going to add like one more layer of whimsy to this card with another stamp set that I adore. And that is the Little Wings stamp set. And I don't know if you guys have seen this yet. This is also part of the brand new release from Pink and Maine. So the May release, the Dogwood Blooms is part of it, and then so is this Little Wing stamp set. And I want to do a little dragonfly. So we're going to use this dragonfly image and do a little bit of stamping, and then we're going to kind of start putting everything together. So what we're going to do with our dragonfly is we're going to do, what colors are we going to do? He's going to be an aquatini dragonfly, and we're going to stamp it in Macchiato ink. So we're going to do a frame first, and then we're going to do the center. Maybe we'll do it the other way. I don't know. I don't know what order I want to do it in. We'll figure it out. Let's see. Where is my cardstock that I pulled? There we go. All right. Now, I love my Catherine Pooler inks for solid image stamping because they really get onto the ink. The ink gets onto the stamps really nicely. So let's go in. We're going to stamp the silhouette first, and we're going to do it in this aquatini color. Because the other color that I pulled was It's a Girl, which is like a warm pink color, but I worry that's a little too much pink. I think that the aquatini is going to be like a nice little pop. All right, so we're going to go in. All right, I'm just going to make sure. And if I don't like it, we'll change the color. You know, super easy, super, super easy. All right, so we're going to go in with that aquatini ink. Ooh, it's a little on the dark side, but that's okay. Just like that. And then we'll clean this off. You know what I found recently? So I do a lot of splattering when I'm crafting. And a lot of times I'll have like a paper like this, and I'll smush the ink right here, and then you've got to wet it. But so if you spray your water next to the paper, the ink will spray onto it, which I know sounds so obvious now that I say it, but I'm going to pass that along to you, that if you are intending on using like the whole panel, do not spray your water with ink or paint right next to it because it will not be pretty. Anyways, the more you know. Ask me how many times I've done that before now I've learned. So anyways. Anyways. All right, so we're going in. Then I'm just going to kind of do my best to line this up without stressing out about it being perfect. No big deal if it's not perfect. Yeah, that's pretty good though. See? No stress. All right. I'm just going to wipe this off. Perfect. All right, and then I can die cut that out. After I just said I don't need my die cutting machine anymore. My goodness. See what happens? Thank you, Judy. It is pretty spot on. I'm happy with it. I don't know. With these images, they're kind of whimsical in nature, so it doesn't stress me out if it's not perfect, if that makes sense. Like, if it's a little off, I just kind of says it'll give my project a little bit more personality. And then it also kind of sets me up for success if I'm doing multiple ones, because I don't have to worry about like one turning out and the other one not. I'm like, you know what? It's fine. This is the look we're going for. We don't need it to be exact. And here we are. All right, let me grab cutting plates. I do think, though, after this, I should not need to do any more with my cutting plates, but stay tuned. I don't know about you guys. One of the social media accounts that brings me a lot of joy to watch, I don't know if you've seen Applesauce and ADHD. She does aggressive cooking tutorials, and she always ends with, like, follow along for more aggressive cooking tutorials. And it's like, I feel like it's a good send-off. Just be like, follow along for more aggressive card making tutorials, something like that. Who knows? Maybe one day I'll do like a post or something inspired by her, and we'll do like an aggressive card making tutorial. That could be fun. All right. Oop. All right. Perfect. So we've got our little... Oh, and that's going to pop really nicely. It's like not directly a color we're using, but it's like kind of adjacent. So Tiffany Lover, she's so good. I don't know if you've got her cookbook, but I made sure to, I had it on pre-order, and I got it, I think came out in January. I haven't cooked anything from it, but she's great. She always brings a smile to my face when she comes across my feed. All right, so let's kind of start doing, we got to do a little bit of splattering, because I want to add a little bit more to this panel. So I'm going to kind of put my images off to the side. We're going to take our macchiato ink, smush it down, Is it good? Of course it's good. I made it. Tiffany, wouldn't it be like a perfect card making theme? Like, I don't know. Maybe I'll do it. All right. All right, just a little bit of that. And then we will pick up that macchiato ink. Now, I'm not using the over coffee color because I want it to be a little darker. But here we go. Now, of course, this is going to have to dry a little bit. That's okay. All right, perfect. She's a lot of fun, Carmen. She really is. I enjoy her quite a bit. She's also too like a lot of like social media influencers things kind of feel like a little like put on, or like that they're constantly promoting product. A lot of what she does is just, this is my idea of how I'm making my dinner, and I'm putting this in because this is what I have. Deal with it. It's really nice. Okay, next what we're gonna do, this is the Pearl Paint and Splatter. This was also just released from Pink and Main. So we're gonna bang it off to the side. Sorry about the noise. There we go. All right, we got it. All right, and we're just going to do a little bit of this, because who doesn't need a little bit of extra splatter for their cards? We're not going to go overboard, though, because this does take a little bit of time to dry. We don't need too much, but it does add a fun splatter effect. So I do like that. So, all right, so let's do a little bit of cleanup. Then I'm going to bring my panel a little closer so y'all can see it. All right, here we go. Do you see how that pearl, you can really see how it catches the light, and it's just going to add a really nice splatter detail to this card. I think that splatter just really sort of helps add a little bit of that extra detail that amps your card up to a level that makes it more special. A lot of what I think makes your cards special are the little details. And it's like not just the splatter, but like the difference between a die cut and a die cut that's been ink blended along the edges. Cutting a rectangle for your like main card panel, or using a stitched die cut to make that same size but have clean edges with stitching on it. Really easy ways that you're able to make your card go from like not as detailed to a little bit more detail and refined that really adds those features. Just my thoughts with it. I've thought before, maybe we'll do a live stream in the future about like, you could do this, or you could instead do this. That's going to give you this little extra detail, and it takes an extra minute or two. I don't know. Just my thoughts. All right. There's a lot of detail in that embossing folder. I agree. A lot of it going on. And I also think that buffalo plaid really is one of those textures that people don't really lean into in spring and summer. It's really more of a fall and winter. I think of flannel blankets, or I think of like fuzzy hats, things that people don't generally want to do in the summer. So, okay, so we've got, let's see what we've got. I mean, we're about ready to put everything together. I just got to let this dry, and then we're off to the races. So we've got all of our elements kind of ready to go. This is beautiful. I am so loving all of these little elements that we have. But I just kind of want to stack everything just into one tray to keep it all together. I think so too, Carmen. I think that would be a really good idea to do. Kelly, it's really a fun embossing folder. It's an older embossing folder by Pink and Main. I wanted to pull in some product for today's live stream that was not just like brand new, but I wanted to show how you could mix new product with products that have already been released and give them a fun twist. And this is definitely part of that. All right, let's see. We're going to bring out a heat gun, because Justin's getting a little impatient. Justin also probably should have done this a couple minutes ago to save some time. All right. So yeah, we could talk about some of those details. I don't know if you guys saw it. It was one of my first live streams. It was actually the second live stream I did. We did a last minute Valentine's Day card live stream where I made 3 Valentine's Day cards in an hour. But the twist is that each one had to be done quicker than the one before. By like 10 minutes. So like I did a 30-minute card, a 20-minute card, and a 10-minute card. And I think if you play it in reverse, I mean, not actually like put it in reverse, but if you watch it, because I did it from 30 to 20 to 10 minutes, if you watch it from 10 to 20 to 30, it shows you like extra steps that you could do that take your card to the next level. But then when you look at it in reverse, it's like, these are some quick tips that you could do if you need like an easy card that you're not really sacrificing the quality. I don't know. Go back and catch it if you've got some time. Ooh, this pretty. Very pretty. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go in and we are going to put some liquid adhesive on the back of this. Now, because I used an embossing folder, this is not a flat piece of paper anymore, and that's okay. It's not meant to be that way. But we're going to add a little bit of pressure to it to make sure that it nicely gets flattened to the paper. But I'm also going to, before I put it on, let's make sure that this paper is actually A2 sized. And now I'm looking at these card bases. This one will work. My other one is not perfect. That's okay. All right, this is actually A2 size. Has anyone ever before seen a piece of paper and by the size of it, you just assumed it was A2, and then when you actually go to put it on your card base, you're like, I need to pivot now. That's happened to me. It's happened to me quite a few times, so I'm just wanting to make sure, and it looks like we are good. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to center this. Let's see, which end do I want covered? So we're going to put this like that. All right. Just kind of use that extra wiggle room time that liquid adhesive gives us. Looks about centered. I'm kind of using my glass mat because there's got some etchings for A2 size, so I'm just kind of making sure it looks level. Ovals can kind of be a pain in the neck when it comes to making them level, but because this one is oblong and's got flat edges, it makes it a little easier. Measure twice, glue once. There you go. 10 minutes. You know what, Barbara, I will be honest. I did, of course, have to plan like and prepare some things in advance. So it's like, is it a true 10 minutes? No, the die cutting always takes a while, but it was like to do it on a live stream. I've never done it, but I did do it on a live stream with everybody. I thought it turned out really cute. All right, so let's see. So we've got that. Let's add, I know I want to put foam tape behind this Dogwood Bloom. So I've got some 3mm foam strips. We're going to just add it. Also, too, I've had a couple videos come out on my channel this week. I don't know if you guys saw it already, but I was part of the hop for the June release for Trinity Stamps, and I made a really fun ice cream card, and then I posted another ice cream card the next day with some products from scrapbook.com. So be sure to check those out if you haven't yet. There's also a giveaway on the Trinity Stamps hop as well, so might as well enter, you know, if you're going to watch. Hello, Pirate Later. You're in Chicago from Phoenix till Monday. Okay, in Lockport, they're having a fest tonight. You might pass my house, Pirate Lady. You might pass by my house, depending on how you're getting there. All right. Just kind of adding in all of these little strips. Don't have to do too many of them. A lot of foam tape. A lot of foam tape. Oh, thank you so much, Carmen. It was really a fun one to make. Definitely some detailed die cuts were needed for it, but it had a huge payoff. I really liked how it turned out. All right. There we go. Now I need more foam tape. Trying to use my leftover strips the best that I can. I need one right here. I am near Naperville, yes. Very close by. I hope you have fun at their fest tonight. I don't know what kind of fest it's going to be, but like, I'm sure it's got good food. That's my number one concern. All right, so we're going to do, let's kind of lay all of this out. So I've got my flowers are going to kind of go off to the side. we're going to do we do Sending Joy? I think we're going to do Sending Joy down there. And then we're going to do more. Oh, yes, yes, yes. We're getting there. So I don't want to do it. Oh, do we do it up top? That's pretty too. I think it looks prettier down here. I think we're going to put it right there. All right. So I'm going to glue it on. Any good scrapbook stores I can check out. There is a place, so if you're in Lockport, I believe it's in Frankfurt, which is not like super close, but it's not also super far, called One Paper Place. That is a local store you could possibly check out. I don't know if they're open on Sundays or what their hours are today, rather. But it might be in Mokina. It's either Frankfurt or Mokina. That's one I know of for sure. What else? That's really the only local one. There's another one called Craft Fancy, but they moved to a different town. They used to be in Arlington Heights, and I think now they're further north in, like, I don't know, Libertyville or Mundelein, something like that. Anyways, not too many. Not too many. Oh, a Justin binge watching day. You guys are so sweet. Thank you. Evergreen Park. Okay, Pirate Lady, Evergreen Park. There, and I haven't been there in several many years. And I don't know if you're familiar with the area or not, but there is a Chinese restaurant that's kind of turned into more Pan Asian restaurant called Chai Tung. My family used to go there all the time. They have some of the best egg rolls that I've ever had. It's called Chai Tung. It usually gets pretty busy. But they used to have just Chinese food, and then they had Thai food. They've expanded to like sushi, and they also have hibachi now. So they've really got everything. Oh, we're gonna put that flower behind like that. Yes, just kind of peeking through, and then we'll carry a couple leaves out, and then let's see, we'll put our dragonfly. They are in Mundelein. Judy, thank you. All right, so we're gonna glue down some of our images. All right, just like this. So I know that I'm going to do this flower because I kind of want it to be not popped up on foam tape, but just kind of peeking. And then we're also going to, let's do a leaf. Maybe like that. Just to add a little bit of dimension. I think that's a lot of fun to kind of mix and match, putting things flat and then also using foam tape to layer. I think is a really fun idea. All right, so we got that. Do a leaf over there. We're getting there, y'all. All right, and then when we get towards the end, we're also, don't forget, we've got our giveaway today, which is a gift certificate sponsored by Pink and Maine. All right. And let's see, we'll put our... I'm kind of loving that kind of just peeking over there. Yep, we're going to do it like that. That place is 5 minutes from me. See, super close. All right, we're going to put this kind of over here. Just making sure that this is going to get nice and tucked behind, which it is. Awesome. And now we just got to find a place for this leaf, which could possibly be right behind this. Oh, that's pretty. Do we want it there, though? I don't know. See, this is the thing. Now you get to hear me mumble about where I want to put things. It's a true live stream, y'all. I'm going to do this over here. Yep, it's going to come out a little bit further. There we go. There's also, and this is kind of an acquired taste, I believe Evergreen Park is very close to Oak Lawn. Fox's Pizza is my favorite pizza in the Chicago suburbs. That's also a good choice. All right, so I'm going to put this. Oh, how pretty. All right. It's very good to hear me talk through it. Well, thank you for your kind words. I appreciate that. Sometimes I just feel like I'm over here mumbling. I'm like, where are we going to position it? But we learn together, right? All right. So I'm going to go ahead and get this positioned. That little pop of green with this sentiment strip, I adore it. What a wonderful idea to incorporate both colors. All right, so we got our Dogwood Blooms. All right, now let's add a couple. We're going to add this to a card base, and then we're going to add some embellishments, and then, y'all, we're going to be just about done. Just remember, when we're talking to ourselves, sometimes we're the professional in the room. There you go, Cordelia. I love that thought process. I'm going to adopt that. All right, so we're going to go in. All right. Perfect. All right, so we've got that, and then we're going to add a couple enamel dots. And we're going to get that all situated. How pretty. Y'all, we've been leaning into florals quite a bit recently, and if florals have not always been my thing, so I am glad to be doing this together with you. All right, let's go in. These are the rainbow glitter enamel shapes. Let's add a couple. Let's see. We're going to add one down here, and then we're going to add two up here. Just to kind of add a little bit of sparkle. We're going to add a little bit of green. A little bit of green. And I think that just about does it. Maybe we do. Do we do more? See, this is the dangerous part. How many more do you add, until you're like, enough's enough? Well, there go all my greens. That's okay. Odd numbers. Just like that. And I think it's super pretty. Oh my goodness. Carrie, same here, like I just said. My goodness. Oh, you're so sweet, P.S. Thank you. You know what? I really think this turned out well. I think that this is a fun way to kind of mix and match some like spring and summery products along with a couple touches of winter and fall, because don't forget our sentiment strip was from a Christmas sentiment pack. The paper is from the Chill in the Air paper pack, which is very like cozy wintry themed. And I'm going to throw my hat in the ring and say that this Buffalo Plaid embossing folder, definitely a print that people would use in cooler months rather than warmer months like summer and winter. Do I want to try and poke that up and move it a little bit? I don't know. Let's see. Just feel like maybe I could. But then again, I don't want to make a problem. There we go. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. All right. Y'all, let's recap what we did. Oh my gosh, you guys are all so sweet. It's good to do a dry run before gluing it all down. Well, we try our best, right? Oh my god, the cornflowers and sunflowers have been catching my eye lately. Oh, thank you guys all so much. You're all so very sweet. All right, so let's go over what we used today, because we really used a lot of fun product from Pink and Main to put all of this together. We used the Dogwood Bloom stamp set. We used the Little Wing stamp set as well, and the coordinating dies. We used for the background shape the stitched oblong oval which we also ran through an embossing powder, embossing folder of the Buffalo Plaid. Then we also used the Chill in the Air pattern paper collection for that background panel. And our Sentiment of Sending Joy came from the Christmas Sentiment Strips die set. Now, don't forget, all the products used are listed down below. Let's go ahead. Let's switch this off to my face because I am going to get ready to do a giveaway. Yay. And like I had said, I'm gonna write a number down. This is how we're gonna do this giveaway. So, there you go. No one should be seeing anything. And what we're going to do is I'm going to ask you a question, and whoever posts with the number, the post that I see come up, once you hit this number, and I'll flip it down, that person's going to win a $25 Pink and Main gift certificate. So make sure to pay attention. I'm going to go ahead. It could be anything. I mean, we've got right now, I'm showing 50 people. So we're going to say the number is anything from what we got 51. It's going to be anything, we'll say from 1 to 50. My question is this. You can comment with either your favorite pattern or flower that you like to craft with. Let me know in the comments, and then when I see the number that comes up here, that's going to be our winner. So comment with your favorite flower or pattern to craft with. You can pick one or the other or both. I'm going to watch the comments come in, and whoever matches with my number, what I can see on my end, is going to win a $25 Pink and Main gift certificate. So go ahead. Let me see. I haven't seen anything come through. Oh, you guys are all so nice. I see all of these nice little compliments coming through. You all are wonderful. Thank you so much. All right. All right. They're coming through. Perfect. All right. So we're going to see. All right. Let me see. I already know from what's coming through what I've seen. Let me see if I can find it. All right. I've got our winner. So let me flip so you guys can see my number. Number 5. And the person that I'm seeing is at Jackie-DBD Stitch Art 4969. That's the 5th comment I've seen. So congratulations, Jackie. If you could just put your email address in the comments, I can go ahead and get this sent over to Pink and Main so they can get you your gift certificate. But thank you guys all so much for entering. My goodness, you guys are wonderful. I appreciate it. But congratulations to Jackie. So we're going to go in, and I'm going to switch back to my face and chat for just another minute or two. Oh my goodness, you guys are all so wonderful. Thank you all so very much for being here today. I appreciate all of you. My live streams have really truly brought some joy to my Saturdays. I was a little stressed to do them at first, but now they kind of power me through my Saturday mornings, and I'm like, I know we're gonna have fun. It's gonna be it's always such a great group of people. Even my replay crew, love you guys as well. But I truly have so much love for everybody who takes a moment to stop by and craft along with me. Really truly appreciate you. And I thank you so very much for spending time with me. So thank you guys for stopping in today for our live stream. I'm going to be back next week. I will post what time. I'm hoping for 1 p.m. My in-laws are going to be in town though. So depending on what they want to do, I might push it earlier. Best thing to do, keep an eye on my socials. I will always post when I'm going to do a live stream, so that way you guys know. And if I have a time change, I will try to post it accordingly. Also, too, I always try to schedule my live streams on YouTube by Friday mornings, so you can always go on and check for my live streams and set a notification. It'll tell you when I'm going live. Because I know we've had some people that I have changed the time on it and we've missed the time, and I never want to let anyone miss out on that. So my goodness. So thank you guys. Oh, you are all so sweet. I truly appreciate every one of you. I had so much fun using some spring and summer products along with some winter products to really cross our seasons and stretch our stash and make some card making magic. So thank you everybody for stopping by. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Saturday. If you haven't already, make sure to head over to the Pink and Main store. If any of the products today have inspired you to get your shop on, I have everything listed and linked down below for your shopping convenience. Using those links helps support me as an artist, and of course at no additional cost to you. So thank you so very much, and give Pink and Main some love. They have fantastic and amazing product, and a design team that is always putting out incredible inspiration for how to utilize their projects and their different products. Thank you again, everybody. Don't forget, I got to go back and check the comments, but Jackie DB Stitch Art, I need your email address so I can get you your gift card, and I will see you all next week when we play with the brand new Catherine Pooler release that's coming your way on Wednesday. Thanks again, everybody. Goodbye.